after 20 years waiting on him. Some of us can't wait 30 minutes for something. Some of us can't. I mean, I stood for almost 18 months. Should I have stood longer? I don't know. He utilized me to go to Bible college, so maybe I made the right choice with him. We got to do and stay in our lane. Stay in our lane. So don't think that becoming a Christian, saying that prayer and getting dunked in some water is the end. Your life's journey has just begun. It's just begun. It has just begun. So, discipleship. Acts 11:26. The word Christian is only found 3 times in the Word of God. 3 times. Is that amazing? We have hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of churches that characterize themselves as Christians over 3 scriptures. Over 3 scriptures. Okay? Now, I bring about 6 scriptures that talk about being disciples, and people want to you're ruffling my feathers, Brother Jack. Well, you know why? Because disciples make you take some responsibility. Because a disciple is what? A teacher. And a disciplee is what? A follower of a teacher. See, so there's responsibilities about being a disciple and a disciplee. But if I'm just a Christian, hey, all I got to do is be Christ-like. And, well, what does that mean? Hey, I just love on everybody. Everybody's cool. Everything's okay. I see the best in everybody and everything. And, hey, I mean, there's a gentleman running here in Colorado that says, hey, you know what? It's your body. Do with it what you want. Okay. If I do whatever I want with my body, then next thing I'll know, I'll do what I want in the city. When those red lights fell up to me, I was like, hey, dude, I don't care what you think. I don't care what the law is. I'm going to go do this. Well, what makes you think that? Hey, we've got politicians that say, hey, you can do whatever you want with it. You know, there's no consequences. Ladies and gentlemen, there's some consequences to not following Jesus Christ the right way. There's some consequences for playing game and playing the God card. Lord, you get me out of this speeding ticket, I promise I'll serve you for the rest of my life. Oh, run a red light, Lord. I know I prayed it last time, but, you know, no, these are games. He's not a game player. He's for real. He's for real. So Acts 11:26. And when he had found him, he brought him into Antioch. So it was for that the whole year they assembled with the church and taught a great many people, and the disciples were first called Christians there. So you see there was, a year's timing. And then they gave them the title of Christians. See, we give the title Christian. Just say this prayer, brother. Just say this prayer, sister, and you're a Christian. You're Christ-like. No. There's still that same person. There's got to be a change in here. Can God change them in an instant? I believe he can. Okay? But all you have to do is watch that person. Watch things that goes on and tell me if they're really Christians. Because they're still breaking laws. They're still using the GD. They're still doing the F-bombs. They're still treating people like crap. Are they really saved? Or did they just make you feel good and you got another number to tell the board, hey, we got another one saved? I know. Trust me. I've done these same things. I've gone to meetings. Me and Pastor Bob used to have to go to these leadership meetings, and you would hear people stand up. Well, our church led 2,000 people to the Lord, and we had 1,989 of them get baptized. Where are they at today? Where are they at today? Love Billy Graham. Love Reinhold Marketing. But where are all these men and women that's been born again through their crusades? Did they just say a prayer to say, hey, I got this. I got to go down and rub elbows with Billy Graham. I got to be real close to Reinhard Bonnke, Or, hey, I went out to lunch with Pastor Bob and Tony, and I said this prayer, but you know what? I had their attention for an hour and a half. But where are they at today? Where are they at today? Where's the true believers in Jesus Christ at today? The churches should be full. Gentleman in Denver said that there are 33% of the population in Denver call themselves Christians. 13% of them go to church. Is that crazy? How are you a Christian, a believer in Jesus Christ, and you forsake the gathering of brethren, or the assembly of brethren? Okay, now I understand. Hey, we're two or three are gathered in His name. He's right there in the midst, and we're having church. I understand that, but there's a lot that goes on. If I got in it, Miss Nancy gets to tell her family today that you know what? There were 19 people in our church praying for our family. Now, if it was just her and Jim at home drinking a cup of tea, it'd be Henry, Jim, and her. We had 3 people praying. There's a big difference by being together. There's a lot more prayer going up for one individual. You see? That's what I'm trying to get at. There's more when you get together as a body. There's a lot going on. Now, I am totally with you. I used to say the same thing. Hey, we don't have to have a building and do that, but you know what? We need a place. We need a locker room. We need a war room. We need someplace to make the plan so we can go out and what? Kick the devil's rear end. We can go do what God's called us to do. We were in a battle a couple of weeks ago. Thank goodness we were prayed up before we went out there. Thank goodness we went around the table with some scriptures and were motivated for Christ, because the way that guy came at me and Miss Nancy, I told Miss Nancy, I said, let's just pack it up. I feel the old Jack coming. I'm just being honest. Jesse the plan is just 5 minutes of carnality. But you know what? I think it was an example for our team that me and Miss Nancy didn't argue with him. We just packed the stuff up, put it back in the trucks. We left. We pulled over to the main office, and I went in and tried to talk to the person that first started talking to us. He was very polite. Hey, do what y'all are doing. Let me go and find out what the proper way of doing this is. And then everything blew up. So see, we have to be in agreement, in unity, in oneness. Did I get them all? It's oneness. In one accord, yes. Yes. Acts 26 and 28. Then Agrippa said to Paul, you almost persuaded me to become a Christian. Okay? You almost persuaded me. I think that's what happens sometimes when our brothers and sisters come down after being, 3 of y'all in here need to be born again today. That's a twisting of the arm. We're trying to persuade them. I think the Philippian jailer, he didn't need to be persuaded. Pastor Bob didn't need Pastor Tony to twist his arm. He seemed to live an example. I've treated you like crap. I've not been the best husband. I've not been the best dad. I've been rude to you. I've been ugly to you. But you know what? You've stayed faithful to me. Hats off to her after 20 years. But it's an example. And it's an example for us. Those of us who have husbands and wives that are sitting in here, those on the line that, you're going through some stuff and mama's not always happy with you. You're not doing things the right way. Go to the one that will show you how to be right. Go to the Father. I bet you, Pastor Tony, you spend many hours in prayer. Because we've all seen Pastor Bob get upset with stuff. So she probably had to go to prayer an awful lot. But it was the example that she set for him to say, you know what? You don't have to force me. I want to do this. I want this. How many movies have we seen where we see some people that they don't even really ring the bell? That guy, she didn't twist his arm. He just seen what she did with them kids. He's driving down the road, tears just flowing down his face, and he's, I want to have what you have. And he goes and rings the bell. That's what we got to do. Is we got to see men and women that are in the park that see us come, and then the next thing you know, they come up and they just start. I said that prayer last night. Jesus led me to his throne. No man was here. No man twisted my arm. No one did it. And then you can start asking those questions. How do you know? You can go through. And then they can walk you through what they went through. Because what Pastor Tony and Pastor Bob went through, I didn't go through that. I went through something totally different. But you know what? It still led both me and Pastor Bob to serving Jesus Christ. It took us selling out to him. 1 Peter 4:16. Yet, if anyone suffers as a Christian, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify God in these manners. Think about what Paul and Silas did. They were doing what Christ called them to do, and they go to jail. Now they were, if you continue to read further in the story, they were beaten. Their backs had to be bandaged, and the ruler, the jailer and his family put the bandages on them. Okay? So we see that, and the jailer approached them. Okay? Why? Because, hey, you just got the snot whipped out of you. You're in jail, in shackles, and you're still praising God. And then there's an earthquake. The shackles come off of you. The door's open. And you can't see me because he called for a light. Okay, he called for a light. And he says, don't harm yourself because we're still all here. Now I don't know, in this room right here, if we were all in jail, I guarantee you some of us would be busting the gate doing 98 trying to get out of there. If the shackles came off, we would be running for the door. But Paul and Silas, just by them praising God, it stopped. They stopped them. They stopped everyone from doing it. They were that example. That was that example. So this is what the Bible calls disciples. Simply, a disciple is a learner, a pupil of someone. A disciple of Christ is one who believes his doctrine, rests in his sacrifices, embraces his spirit, imitates his example. So when we look at this, we see that there's certain things that we have to do. Okay, Matthew 10:24. Matthew 10:24 says, a disciple is not above his teacher, nor a servant above his master. Okay? And in our discipleship classes that we do, okay, we're not asking people to look at us as masters. We just want you to look at us as teachers. We're going through this together. I mean, as I told the five of us on Wednesday, I said, you know what, I've learned something. Just after each one of these chapters, it says, what did you learn from this? See? And that's what I put down. You know what? I didn't realize there was 5 reoccurring themes throughout the whole Word of God. That's something I learned. You know, studying the Word of God. Remember, I brought this one on a Saturday night. You know, how many brothers did Jesus have? Remember that one? See, we always think of 2, but there was actually more than that. There was brothers and sisters. You know, but we don't hear about them. But studying the Word of God out, you'll see them. You'll hear them. Let's go to Luke 14:26 and 27, and then we'll go to verse 33. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his father, his mother, wife, children, brothers, sisters, yes, his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Verse 33 says, so likewise, whoever of you does not forsake all that he has cannot be my disciple. So it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you a whole lot to become a disciple a disciple of Jesus Christ. It's going to cost you a whole lot. You know, all you